Hello and welcome back to Dicebreaker, where we are joined by some very, very special guests over the internet. It's a hot new concept that we're still learning here at Dicebreaker.com. We're going to be playing a fantastic RPG today by John Harper, the designer of Blaze in the Dark. It is called Lasers and Feelings. You might have noticed from the thumbnail that it's loosely based on Star Trek and all of its iterations. And of course, we have two very, very special guests here from Outside Xbox. First, of course, last but not least, and second but not least, I've run out of words to say. Andy Aaron.
Hey, good. Thanks for having me. Very excited.
And of course, Jane Douglas. How are you?
Hi. I'm well. Thanks for having me.
You've got a very good costume on. Everyone's got a very good costume on, apart from Johnny Chiodini, who's just glued something to his head.
Yeah. Would anybody like an oat flat white?
I genuinely would, actually. Thanks.
Yeah, great. I'll wing one over to you in between like 2 and 3 months.
Nice.
Because space is big.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is involved. It's just staggering.
So yeah, apologies to anyone who's bothered by the bar popping up in the bottom of the screen there. I unplugged the mouse from my computer to try and fix that. It didn't fix anything.
It's fine. It's one of the weird things that we'll just have to get used to throughout this entire 2-hour period. Yeah. But for now, I'm going to introduce Lasers and Feelings. So it comes with like a very short little descriptor of how things are kicking off. So I'm just going to read that out for the folks at home. If you'd like to follow along and if you want to have a little look at the rule set itself, it's literally 1 page of rules. And there is a link in the description of this YouTube stream, which will still be available after the thing has gone live as well. So have a look for yourself. And if you want to play it as well, then you are more than welcome because I believe it is free. So you are the crew of the interstellar scout ship Raptor. Yeah. Your mission is to explore uncharted regions of space, deal with aliens, both friendly and deadly, and defend the consortium worlds against space dangers. Captain Darcy has been overcome by the strange psychic entity known as something else, leaving you to fend for yourselves whilst he recovers in a medical pod. Of course, the brave crew of the ISS Raptor will be played by the very people that you have in front of you. Let's start with Jane Douglas. Would you like to introduce your character for the people at home?
I sure would. Greetings. My name is Lexi Tyndall. I am Chief Science Officer aboard the Raptor. Yeah, that was the name. I'm here to find new worlds. I've got to find them all.
Next up, we have Andy Farrant, who will be playing.
I'll be playing the character of Jet Starchaser, who is a hotshot pilot. And you can all relax, everyone, because I'm here now. I'm going to take charge and do cool stuff.
I'm liking that the headset microphone actually works for your character as well, by the way.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah. Some character work. It's fine.
Next up, we have Alex Lowleys, who will be playing.
Hello, it's me, Alex Lowleys, and I will be playing Sim, the android doctor who just wants to feel human feelings.
And last but not least, of course, we have Johnny Chiodini.
Yes, I will be playing Key O'Dini, the grumpy science officer who was very nearly called Michael Dawn 2, just to give you a steer. I'm the only alien on board, but my one goal in life is to crush space crime because I'm a rough, tough soldier.
That's good.
Yeah, you'll be playing a dangerous soldier. Each character is made up by like a descriptor and a role. So we have a savvy scientist in Lexi Tyndall, a hotshot pilot in Jet Starchaser, an android doctor in Sim, and of course a dangerous soldier in Chiodini. So let's kick things off because this is only 2 hours, so we're gonna have to do a rip-roaring adventure. Considering that we've got a whole galaxy to explore. We're going to be piloting the ISS Raptor, as I said. Captain Darcy, the pilot of which has a bit of a grim past, which means that you have a bit of a name to yourselves on this ship. It's not necessarily apparent what exactly he's done, but you know that people don't like him very much. The ship itself, though, has a cloaking device and is kitted out with a fighter craft. As the pilot, Andy Farrant, would you like to tell me a few more details about the ship?
Yeah, it looks like a giant eagle, but with 6 wings, and each wing has a kind of laser minigun mounted underneath it. Yeah. And it's got kind of an array of like laser cannons on top, and you can manually fire those. You can get in those if you want, or they can be set to auto target as well. Inside, it's very much like the Starship Enterprise. Why not? There you go.
There's also an air horn on the outside that can be heard in space.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We put our top scientists on making that work. It was the highest priority that you can have in space. So we open on the crew lowering their ship into the atmosphere of the ice giant Praxus Prime. This is the largest planet in the Praxis system. There's quite a few little sort of planets that are inhabitable. There's a few gas giants as well that are basically unnamed, just have like a consortium string code to them. But Praxus Prime being the biggest one, out to the sort of like, if you were to look, what would originally be west if you were sat on the planet would be Praxus West. If you look to the east on the planet, there would be Praxus Estus. Closer to the outskirts of the system is Praxus Sud. And then there's also like a mining colony that was sat on a moon, but they mysteriously lost power one day and are now known as Praxis Unplugged.
Oh my. There it is.
Wow.
Oh, you got me.
Praxus Prime itself is covered in sort of snowy mountains. It's basically tip to toe snow, ice, and rock. It's largely inhospitable, so it's quite strange that you see what looks like some kind of orbital defense system marking you as a target as you reach the sort of exosphere of the atmosphere of the planet. The reason you've come to this place is you picked up an emergency distress signal that bared consortium call signs, and as the crew of a consortium ship, it is your duty to respond to anything of that nature, whether you would want to or not. They are threatening to fire on you, these defense systems. You have no idea if anyone's actually manning them or if they're just automated, but you need to make a decision now. So I guess we'll flick over to the pilot, Jet Star Chaser, to take some evasive maneuvers.
I activate the cloaking device.
All right. So we're going to do our first roll here to see if this actually pulls anything off. So in this system, we're going to be using D6s. Basically, whenever you want to make a roll, you have one stat on a D6. You pick 1 to 6 as your number. And whenever you want to roll with feelings, which is to say you want to be passionate or aggressive, or you want to be brave or adventurous, you're going to try and roll over that number. Whenever you want to try and roll with lasers, which is to say that you're going to be scientific or reasonable or smart or concise, you're going to be going under that number. So tell me how you're approaching this, Andy.
So I noticed that we're being targeted by the system, and instinctively, using my pilot's intuition and feelings, I slam the cloaking device button. It's more of an instinct than anything. I don't even think about it. It just happens.
So you're going to roll 1d6 as standard.
Okay.
And then you're going to add 1 if you're prepared and add 1 if you're an expert. I'm going to say that you're definitely an expert, seeing as you are the pilot of the ship. So should we call this 2d6?
All right.
He's the only one that can find the cloaking button. It is famously cloaked at all times.
Yeah. It's a 3 and a 5.
3 and a 5. Okay, so what is your stat line? What is your number?
2.
2. Oh, well, definitely then. So you've got multiple successes. Because as I said, when you're rolling with feelings, you're going to go over the number. So if you have 2 die succeeds, you do it well. Good job. So you slam on the hit button that no one can see. Everybody else just sees Andy's hands, or Jet Star Chasers, should I say. Jet's hand just sort of like stop midair, and then just some clicking happens, and you notice a sort of poof, as this sort of like bassy force field emits around you. And suddenly the flashing red signal that says that your ship is being targeted by weapons just sort of beeps a bit slower, and then goes yellow, as there seems to be some kind of confusion on the other end.
All a day's work. Everyone stand down.
Are we all in the same room right now, by the way?
You're on the bridge of the ship.
I'm not. I am next to the only medical pod where the captain is convalescing, and I'm just leaning over it going, "Tell me your secrets," because I know we've got a bad rep, and I suspect it might be related to space crime.
Got it. What's everyone else doing?
All right, I would like to run a full spectrum sensor array thing on the source of the distress signal. Oh, wait, no.
Sorry.
Quiet, Jet. Quiet. I'd like to run a full spectrum sensor array DLE pattern on the source of the distress signal, and maybe also the source of the defense system.
Okay, so you're gonna be. This is definitely a lasers role.
Lasers, yeah.
I'm gonna say, as a science officer, you're definitely experienced in this.
Yeah.
So we'll give you 2d6.
Okay, 2d6. Here we go. 3 and a 5.
And what's your number?
4. So
4.
1.
Okay, so that is 1 success. So you don't get like a very clear sweep. I think the power drain of the massive cloaking device is sort of interrupting a few of your scanners. But as you sort of like scan for life forms and sort of like mineral deposits as the standard sort of planetary wide scan goes, you notice that whilst there is like barely any life forms on this planet, they're all congregated in sort of one area that's basically around where you can tell the weapon systems seem to be firing from, or at least they're trying to fire from. As you sort of get a magnification of the planet's surface, there are all these like brutalist constructs of concrete and hard iron that are seen to have been hastily built across this big open plain of ice. And just to the west of this area, there seems to be like a sort of mountain ridge that you could possibly try and park the ship down on, or at least the landing pod, to try and get some kind of on the ground scouting mission effort.
Nice. So should we bring this Raptor down? Should we land on the landing space, guys?
Yeah, I think we got it, Jet.
Into it. All right. I expertly land the ship.
Okay, let's say that just happened, shall we? So we're gonna ask for. Lord, tell me how you're landing the ship first of all.
So I'm going to do like a Star Fox style half loop and then sort of twist and then bring it around in a kind of lazy barrel roll and touch down perfectly without spilling my space tea.
So now I wouldn't want to presume here, Andy, but would you say that you're showing off?
No. Showing off? No, you'll know when I'm showing off.
Hey, it's a good thing you didn't spill your space tea on your feet, because then you would have been slippy-toed.
So, Andy, you want to grab... I'm going to say it's a 3d6. You get 1 as standard, of course. You're definitely an expert, and I think you've been preparing for this all your life. By this
yeah.
All
right.
So give me 3d6. I'm going to ask you to roll lasers though, because this seems to be a pretty tricky maneuver. It's going to take some expertise.
Oh, okay. Lasers. Oh boy. Okay. Right. Well, let's see how this goes. 1, a 5, and a 3.
Okay, so that's 1 success. So you are sort of like, I'm going to say that you're half into the atmosphere. You're that close to the ground. Okay. When you notice that the sort of like electromagnetic signal that your ship is giving off is starting to re-attract the ire of these automated defense systems. And at that point, you decide that you're kind of at a point of no return. You're either going to be trying to force your way through the gunfire, or you need to pull back and drop through the landing ship, which is going to sort of be small enough to get away from their sensors. All
right, let's bring this thing down. Let's go through the lasers.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that's definitely feelings.
Why do we even have a landing craft?
Okay. Give me 3 again. Why not?
Okay, that is a 2, a 3, and a 4.
Okay, so that's 3 successes, which, I mean, that is a critical success, which means that you've been pretty good. But also, there is a little system in Lasers and Feelings. Whenever you rolled the exact number that you chose at the start of the game, which for you is a 2, you have rolled Laser Feelings, which means that you get to ask the GM a question, and they'll answer you honestly.
Okay. Are the defense systems automatic or manned?
Whilst the defense systems seem to be automatic, as in they are targeting anything that comes near, you can tell that they were purposely programmed recently due to the certain sort of like maneuvers that you were pulling. Like these are fresh off the hot new pilot magazines. They wouldn't have known about this stuff a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
Popular Pilots Monthly.
Yeah.
I got all these moves out of the new issue, so definitely, yeah.
So you see sort of like these pulsing lasers sort of like fire past the hull. A few of the crew sort of like grip onto their systems as not to fall over. And as you just sort of expertly barrel roll your way out of a shot, you softly touch down behind the mountain ridge with enough cover to protect you from the rest of the barrage.
You're welcome.
That question was as well. Really good.
All right,
cool.
So
all right, we're here.
You find yourselves amongst a sharp and craggy, icy mountain ridge with just over the crest this huge concrete facility sprawling across the icy plains.
Do you think it's safe out there, security officer Key?
If it isn't, I'm going to make it safe with my fist.
All right. Key, you get out there and punch the atmosphere until it's breathable.
I want to just like Hulk charge out of the ship.
Okay, are you putting on your back suit?
Yeah.
Or are you just talking
No
out?
time.
Ooh,
Treat yourself.
Let's see. Yes, I will.
Okay, you all walk down to the sort of like the entrance and exit point of this ship, which is to say a huge sort of platform that extends down onto the ground. The reason that you followed Security Officer Key Odini is because you can see that he's clenching his fists in a way that you know he's about to leave, regardless if anyone tells him to or not. So you all sort of like clamber around, pop on your vac suits by pressing the little button on your panel as a sort of globe fish head shape appears above your head. And with a sort of crack open of the steel doors that keep this vessel airtight, you feel a cold wind sort of pulse into the actual inside of the airlock.
Oh, yeah, it's an ice giant. Everyone bring a coat.
Yeah, you get a feeling for how freezing cold this planet can get. And whilst there is
cold, Jet Starchaser.
I'm sorry?
I do not feel the cold.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a feeling we could get you to learn by the end of this adventure. There you go.
You notice that whilst the atmosphere is relatively breathable, given the sort of like descriptors that you're getting on your super space phone, you can tell that it's going to be harsh enough conditions that you'll need to be careful and probably get inside as soon as you can.
Okay, good. All right, I'm going to use my tricorder communicator space dealie to
Xbox Prime 480. Yeah.
My space Alexa. I'm going to get it to scan for wildlife in the vicinity of the ship, just in case.
Wildlife specifically. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say 2d6s here for a lasers roll.
Lasers roll. Here we go. A 1 and a 5.
1 and a 5. So that's one success. So you're you pull up your super space communicator phone thingamajiggy, and as you sort of press the big button that just says scan on it, you sort of like tweak a few knobs and look like you're really sort of paying attention, even though I mean these things are all automated now anyway. But a few sort of warnings pop up, and it basically tells you that wildlife has perished on this planet every time it's attempted to populate itself. They say that life always finds a way, except for on Praxus Prime.
Okay, guys, no worries. There's no animals around here. They're all dead. They all died because this planet is bad.
All right, cool. We should probably try and get inside then as fast as possible. Spend as little time outside as we can.
Or catch their murderers.
Yeah, again, it's probably the atmosphere. So if you did want to start punching the atmosphere,
I'll start punching the atmosphere, please.
Cool. Can you roll me feelings, please? I'm going to say 3 dice. You're definitely prepared for this.
Okay. That is 1, 5, and 6.
Okay, so that's 2 successes. So you managed to punch the air so hard that it warms up a little bit. So a few of you slip on like a few sort of standard consortium issue jackets to keep yourselves a little bit toasty, worried that his fists can only last so long.
Okay, so we know that there's the life signatures are all congregating in one area. How far away from us is that bit?
I mean, it's a fair walk, but if you were to take perhaps the some of the speeders that you have in the vehicle lobby, you could potentially get there pretty quick.
Cool. All right, who's up for speeding over there and blasting everything with lasers?
Okay.
Yes, we could do that.
All right.
Yes, that is an action that is possible. Okay, who's going to be taking the lead on this one?
Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead, Sim. Do you want to take the lead?
How many ships are there?
Well, there's probably about 2 in there, but you can either split up or you can all go in one vessel. Depends on what the plan is.
Should we split up?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take 2 in case one of them gets wrecked.
Yeah.
Good
Always
plan.
have a
Good plan.
backup. All right, who's piloting each vessel?
I'm happy to take one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll pilot the other one.
I feel like I'm a machine. I probably know how to work other machines.
Mm-hmm.
Affinity for metallic devices. All right, who's going with who then?
All right, I'm going to go with Sim after that fiasco with the laser defenses. So
Fiasco? I'd like to see you do a perfect Star Fox landing.
I walk up to Jet and I say, "You are impulsive and dangerous. I like that." And then I get on the speeder.
Let's go.
Flirting with him.
Yes.
Is this pulsating? I don't think so.
We immediately speed off.
Yeah, okay. Fantastic.
Do a sick burnout and speed up.
Yeah.
Shower of space gravel.
Mm.
Do I need to roll for seeing if I can work this craft?
Well, you tell me what your approach is, Sim, and then we'll see what kind of difficulties you might come across. Because you definitely know how to pilot this thing.
Oh, okay.
It depends on how you're approaching the actual facility itself.
Oh, like just what do you mean? Like what speed or?
Well, let's say, for example, if you were an impulsive hotshot pilot and you were to storm straight off directly in the vicinity of where all of the mega laser cannons are, then that might pose some initial dangers to your approach, for example.
Oh no, like I think I would fly and then kind of fly low, or would I fly low? Yeah, I'd fly low, like within. Did you say there's like mountains or something?
You're coming out of a craggy mountainscape into like an ice plain that is sort of dotted with all of these little concrete facilities. It almost looks like a sort of like science research center that's spread across some kind of big mesa or something.
Okay, well I'll just like fly kind of between the buildings to where we're going and then land kind of a safe distance away.
Okay, that sounds like a very sensible action. I'm going to ask you to roll lasers. Would you say that you're an expert in machines? I'm going to say that you're an android, so why not? So I'm going to give you 2 dice.
All right. I'm trying to roll under a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a 2 and a 5.
Fantastic. So not only do you succeed well, but you get to ask me a question.
Do I notice anyone like watching us from the facilities at all?
So the facilities, like, obviously have got some kind of alert going because the orbital lasers have activated. But given the lack of any other response, it almost seems like they're used to the orbital lasers activating. So you probably are not necessarily right in their gaze right now.
Okay.
So you're going to start careening around some of these concrete facilities. You do a sick snowdrift at some point and sort of like you're skiing down a mountain, you just sort of shoot some snow up that lands on an unfortunate tree. And as you're sort of winding your way through, you see on the opposite side of some of the concrete buildings, the other vessel, where your good friend Jet Starchaser is doing what?
A wheelie.
A wheelie. This is a floating speeder, so I'm not entirely sure how that works.
I've lifted the nose up.
Yeah,
we're going along the back floating.
Got it. Yeah. Roll me 2d6 then with feelings.
That's 2 2s.
Oh,
2 2s.
Super lazy feelings.
Yeah, super lazy feelings. So yeah, obviously you pop a sick wheelie. Like, you can't see Sim's face, but you can pretty sure that if they saw you and they knew how to express gratitude and also incredible bewilderment, they would be doing that right now.
Nice.
but also you
Nice.
get to ask me 2 separate questions.
Ooh, man. Okay, 2 separate questions. Okay. If anyone wants to chip in with questions, by the way, I've got 2. So,
Okay.
Okay, I guess one man. Did the distress call that we got? Was there anything out of the ordinary about it? Did it seem suspicious in any way?
It was definitely like normally a distress signal that marks itself as that old. It would have changed by now. So either something bad has happened to them, or there's something strange about the distress signal that has not become apparent yet.
Okay. And second question, is there anything you can tell me about Captain Darcy that we don't know yet?
He has a long list of space crimes.
Okay.
He's also such a hotshot maverick that they just cannot take his title away.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you really look up to.
I know how that is.
Okay,
cool.
All right, so you're sort of careening around these concrete facilities. Every now and again, some of the orbital laser systems sort of like flip out these little anti-personnel rifles that are sort of firing into you, and you're just sliding around them, making it look like you barely even notice they're there. And you get to this sort of like ridge where you can just sort of take a break and hide behind cover for a second if you want to reassess the situation. Or you could use it to do some sick air and just vault right into the air. I mean, it's up to you.
Key, gonna wrap this thing.
Do it. He's in the corner. He's just on his communicator dealing with some sex bots in chat. Don't worry, I'm banning them.
All right, I'm gonna ramp it.
Just before we get back to that, Sim, what are you up to? Upon seeing this this ramp / cover.
Oh, I'm just watching, like, curiously. I'm very I do a lot of like observing of humans. So I'm just like trying to figure out what's going on, why he's doing what he's doing, and just watching.
This is how humans act. This is how all humans act.
This is standard human action.
This is standard.
Are you stopping the vessel, or are you careening straight over the ramp?
Me? Oh, I stopped already.
Oh, you stopped already? Okay,
I stopped at a safe distance, remember? And I was just
okay. I'm gonna say you're behind this ramp that your compatriots are about to vault over.
Okay.
So let's get another feelings roll from you, Andy.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say this is probably a 2 dice situation.
That's a 3 and a 1. So
3 and a 1. Okay, so that's 1 success. So you don't quite stick the jump. Like, so you get to a point where you're just about to pull
pretty
to the
drunk.
side. Yeah. You're pretty jacked up as well. So you're like getting really pumped for the ride, and you're shaking a little bit. Just as you get there, you sort of slide a little bit to the left. That means that when you go up in the air, you're kind of spinning 360.
Yeah.
As you're
the Tony Hawk.
Yeah, exactly.
Tony Hawk 1080.
Which means that it's difficult to see what's below you because you're kind of trying to stop yourself from vomiting from the amount of sort of speed and G-force that you're experiencing right now. Whereas when Sim on the other side of the ledge sort of cranes the vessel up so that they can take another look over the top, they can see that a huge amount of quite deadly looking weapons are now pointed at your vessel, just like beeping as if they're readying to all just plummet into you with one volley.
Cool. Whee!
I guess can we contact? I can contact using the space phone, right?
Oh, of course.
And be like, Jetstar Chaser, are you okay?
That's a solid copy. Don't know if you can see from there, but it's this sick Tony Hawk 1080 I'm pulling off right now. Woo!
And don't come back.
Yeah.
Who is Tony Hawk?
He's a space boarder. You know, the space boards. He does tricks on those. It's very cool.
You realize that there are weapons pointed at your vessel?
It's kind of hard to realize anything at the moment. We're still spinning, trying hard not to throw up mostly. So
how are you going to stop from dying?
I haven't really given it much thought yet, Sim. Right. Let's have a think.
Okay,
Key.
get back to me when you have an answer.
Yes.
Key. Apparently there's a bunch of weapons pointed at us, and they're all going to go off shortly.
Not if I can help it.
Sounds good. You got to.
Can you help it?
Can you help it?
No, we really need to know. Can you help it?
I'm going to try and help it.
Okay, how would you like to do that?
Lasers.
King
Is there? Does the speeder have any form of weaponry, or is there a hatch I can lean out of and fire a lot of gun?
So, whilst the transport speeders don't have weapons themselves, of course you have your phase pistol that is set to stun right now.
Yeah.
You could lean out of the ship.
Yeah.
You could lean out of the ship.
I'm not hearing a you shouldn't.
No, you could. It's up to you, Key Odini.
I'm going to lean out of the ship.
Okay. Can you describe to me what you're doing?
I'm going to walk up to a hatch and just kind of boot it open, just brrr! And then I'm going to pop my head out and just start weapons. Like, have you ever seen Flash Gordon, or are you too young for that?
I've seen Flash Gordon.
Okay, so you know when the Hawkmen are attacking the big ship, and all those dudes are like running around inside with their dorky weird crossbows, and then they lean out of the windows in the spaceship?
Okay. Can you roll me, please? You are a soldier, so using weapons is definitely in your wheelhouse. Can you roll me 2d6 on
Can I help?
Yeah.
Yeah, how would you like to help?
I'm going to steer with my feet and lean back and shoot out the door with my hand.
I'm trying to roll under, aren't I, at this point?
Yeah, one sec. We just need to check if Jet is actually helping or not.
Is this helping?
So you're going to make your own roll, Jet. So you're definitely not prepared, and I'm not sure you're an expert with pistols, seeing as you're more focused on driving things. So I'm just going to ask you to roll 1d6 on feelings and see what you do.
It's a 6.
Okay, so Johnny Keedini, roll me 3 dice, please.
Okay.
As you're helped by the occasional blast of laser flying past your head.
1, 3, and 6.
Okay, and your number is 4. Okay, so that is 1 success. So basically what happens, Sim, what you can see from your perspective, you see a ship sort of like, or a speeder rather, just sort of like a pizza spinning through the air that's been tossed as like a frisbee, and then just out of one of the windows you see the barrel of a gun pop out, and it just firing lasers like a Catherine wheel, circling around. A few of them hit the front of your ship, a few of them hit like a couple of trees off the distance. One of them hits one of the weapon systems and seems to do some kind of damage to that, but then the rest of the weapon systems fire.
Oh no!
I think I turn to Lexi and I'm like, I think they are in trouble.
I think you're right, Sim. I think they're in all the trouble.
I scream, "Help us, science!"
All right, science to the rescue. I think we should use their magnificent, what shall we say, distraction. Use them as a decoy. Get out of the speeder. I think we'll be pretty low profile, just like in our suits with our snow hoods up. And are we quite close at this point to the kind of the center of the action, to the source of the distress call?
Relatively close. It would probably take you. Pardon me. It'll probably take you about 5 minutes to walk there on foot.
Okay, I say we should try like stealthily hike it towards the source of the laser cannons, and maybe we can hack them or destroy them, and basically Jet and Key will just have to make their own way for a few minutes.
I'd like to just say that Sim is not very stealthy. Like, she moves quite robotic.
Oh.
So, like, if you make her like sneak, she will just kind of bend down and like move sideways in like a weird.
Like RoboCop.
Oh no!
Quick.
I forgot about that.
Quick, hide, Sim.
Okay. We need some like snow camo. Some what have we got?
Your consortium snow coats are definitely white, I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right. Well, that's something. We'll blend in a little bit.
Not because that's what they were intending, just because white is really fashionable right now in space.
I think I don't have a coat because I don't feel cold, but we found a coat maybe like in the ship somewhere, and it's either way too big or like way too small.
Yeah, perfect. It's way too big. It's way too big.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so sort of as stealthily as you can, you sneak out of the ship that's already sort of like just on the corner of this little ramp that leads up into where the main facility is. And as you're cresting, you can tell that the barrage of fire that is targeting this spinning Catherine wheel of a ship is definitely distracted from any targets that would be as small as you right now. Which means that it's not really that difficult for what looks like the music video for E17's Stay Now, walking through this huge sort of snowy wasteland that is covered in like ash and rubble. You can tell that a lot of things have attempted to get this far and have been blasted to smithereens. There's like carcasses of speeders everywhere. You're sort of dodging your way through them to make sure that you can get there. And as you get about 1 minute away, at this point, of course, the ship has thoroughly landed and has been blasted to holes, but we'll get to that in a sec. But as you're about 1 minute away, you can start to see some of the sort of like personnel entrances.
Okay. I inspect the personnel entrances. Are they locked, defended? Are they heavy-duty doors?
Give me a 2 dice lasers roll.
Okay, 2 dice lasers roll. I have a look at the personnel entrances. I get a 3 and a 2.
Cool, that's 2 successes. So using your like magnification device on your super space phone, you're zooming in on some of the what look like kind of portholes around some of the entrances themselves, and you can see every now and again there's like the barrel of a gun seems to be marching as if someone's got it over their shoulder, just sort of walking past. So there's definitely people on the other side, but you're not sure how many.
Okay.
So we flip back to the ship just briefly. So it's quite harrowing when you feel the vibration of about 80 pulse lasers and rockets hit the hull of the speeder, which thankfully is shielded. But as it tears apart with you inside it, you feel yourself just black out and then wake up in a pile of cold snow, surrounded by burning rubble and metal. And you look around and you look okay. You seem fine. You feel like you shouldn't be fine.
Man, I really thought science would come and help us, but okay, guess not. You okay, Key? How you feeling?
Shields are at 0, Jet.
Yeah, no, I can. The ship is at 0. It's exploded and on fire.
Yeah, it's real bad.
I seem to be fine. How are we fine? I don't understand. What's going on here? Let me use my scanner to scan myself on you. Let me scan you and see if anything's weird.
Okay.
All right, scan Key to see if anything's weird.
Yeah, you take out your space phone and try to hit scan, and it's like fritzing. Like there's some kind of weird feedback that keeps pulsing into the screen. It's like when you hold a magnet up to an old CRTV.
Oh, am I dead again?
You can just make out the battery symbol. It looks like it's recharged fine, but weirdly, it's almost like it's being disrupted by something.
Right. Okay. Can I see anything like around me that's odd or unusual?
Do you want to stand up? You're currently sort of like prone in the snow.
Yeah. I'm going to get up. That'll help. Whatever my next objective is, being upright.
So as you stand up, and it looks like Key is sort of like joining you, you get sort of like back up onto your feet, and then you notice that like your head just bumps against something, but then you look up and there's nothing there, and then you reach out and touch what's above you, and it's almost like some kind of strange force field is surrounding you.
Oh.
And as you touch it, it's got like a sort of electrode charge to it. It's only apparent to Lexi and Sim that they see some kind of beam being fired out from one of what looked like one of the weapon systems. It's firing it directly into the position of the burning rubble of the ship, on which you assume are your dead crewmates. And there's this strange sort of like energy bubble surrounding the inside of what used to be the ship.
Okay, I drop kick the bubble.
Okay, roll me definitely 1d6. I'm not sure if anything else is going to help you here.
Can I help?
Yeah, how would you like to help?
I want to crouch down so he can take a run up and jump off my back.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely like standard soldier procedure. So give me 2d6 on feelings.
All right. 3 and a 5.
3 and a 5. Okay, so that is 2 successes. So you launch off of the back of Kyodini, the weapons officer, and as you sort of like as the 2 heels of your drop kick hit into the beam, you feel it move, and you're like, "Yes, I've done it!" And then you sort of land onto the snow, and you stand up looking triumphant, and then you realize you're getting higher, and then you see that the beam is now lifting you up into the air.
Oh man!
Sim and Lexi can see what looks like some kind of tractor beam is pulling them up into the air. You're briefly glad that your crewmates aren't perished, and then you're slightly worried as you see them pulled into the research center itself.
Jane is gone.
Jane has gone.
She wasn't having any of this.
She didn't survive.
She's like, well, those guys are dead. I'm off.
Well, she was wearing a red shirt.
Yeah,
for unrelated reasons. Lexi Tyndall died. Okay, so we're in a tractor beam.
You are in a tractor beam. You're being. Do you know what? Let's go back to Sim for a second. Sim, how are you reacting to this?
Well, I was going to go over because obviously I'm a doctor, so I was going to go over and check on them. But now I can see them lifting out, like whatever.
Well, as you see them lifted up, you can see Jet Starchaser is sort of stood with his hands sort of planted into his sides, like looking very triumphant. And then there's a slightly more confused looking Kyodini.
Well, the thing is, at this point I would have turned around to Lexi and been like, asked her some kind of science related question, because obviously her being the scientist, she might know what's going on, but she's not here. She disappeared.
Okay, is there any sort of action that you want to queue up? Is there something that you want to do now that you're basically undetected right now?
I'd like to kind of get my space pistol ready, because that's my first thought, is maybe I can like kind of shoot them down. But here she is.
Hello.
I'm sorry about that. My internet gave out. I'm tethered, so let's see how that goes.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay.
Yes, is everyone still alive?
From what you can tell, yeah.
So essentially, the lads are floating away. Oh no!
Nope. Go again.
She's gone again.
Everyone's still alive? Yeah. All right, I'm out.
Job done. Okay, fine. Let's flip back.
That's not good.
No, it's not great. Oh, there we go. That's better.
Hi.
Isn't the internet fun?
No.
All right, so we flip back to Key and Jet, who are being lifted by this tractor beam, and as you're sort of brought way up into the air, you can see as the sort of fogginess of the cold, icy environment starts to give way as you're getting closer. There is a huge, what looks like building site, where these sort of like men in unmarked uniforms are digging with industrial tools this massive tunnel into the surface of the planet itself. It's almost like they're building like a subway or something. It's not the sandwich shop, but the huge tunnel is sort of going down into the earth, and then it seems to flatten out as if it's sort of pushing underneath in a straight line.
Oh my God.
And there is a huge monitor that is sat at the sort of like the north end of this construction site. And you can see that you're being lowered onto some kind of platform that is surrounded by armed guards.
Can I? Oh, sorry, you're with the lads.
No, it's okay. Carry on.
Well, now that Lexi's back, I wanted to ask her. How are they floating? Essentially, is what I was going to ask. Sorry.
She's gone again.
She is now gone again. So we go back to the adventures of Jet Starchaser and Kyodini.
Oh my God! They're lowering us onto a platform full of soldiers. Key. I grab handfuls of the bubble and see if I can steer it.
Alack, the bubble does not mend to your hands at all. It's just like clawing at glass, like you're a cat that wants to be let in.
It looks like they have us surrounded, Jet. Those poor bastards.
Yeah, that's right. Hate to be in their shoes in about 5 minutes. Ready your lasers. Set them to kill.
So
there's a different setting.
So you are sort of like landed onto this platform, and your feet sort of like give way a bit as the bubble seems to pull apart. And as you hit the deck, you feel like a static charge that's like gripping you onto this metal platform, as if you're being sort of pulled in by some kind of electricity. And it's sort of forcing you to sort of bend down and hunch over to feel what it's almost like you're on a massive planet that's pulling you in on its gravity, but it's definitely the system underneath that's doing this to you. And as you sort of like crane your head up to look around, you notice that all the weapons are pointed at you, and the huge screen at the back of this facility starts to power on. You can see like a few beams sort of like going green, and then there's like a little Wi-Fi signal that says connection halted. And then you see like someone in a uniform just sort of like kicks a server somewhere, and then a huge image just emblazons across this screen, and there is none other than the fearsome, terrifying Zorgon the Conqueror.
Oh my god!
Known throughout
This guy.
the galaxy for his horrible space crimes and his penchant for murdering people in droves as he conquers everything in sight.
Zorgon the Conqueror, you son of a bitch.
Is the building that the lads have floated up to, is that the same building that we're standing in front of, or is it like...
Yeah, so you're basically like at this like concrete wall that is surrounding this facility, and there's a few entrances dotted around that, although there are people behind them, you can't really tell the numbers that they're in.
Okay, so is Zorgon is this a communications thing? I say, hey, Zorgon, what the hell, man?
And you hear him sort of like look around, and then someone sort of comes up from behind him and taps him on the shoulder and passes him a headset, and he pops it on, and he's like, hello, am I on?
Yeah, you're on. What the hell's going on here, Zorgon? I'm a reasonable guy, but I've just experienced some very unreasonable things.
Well. If it isn't the consortium drones here to answer your distress signal, it is I, Zorgon the Conqueror.
Yeah, no, we know. Is there a distress call? We're here to answer it. So if you could just point us in the direction of the distress call, we can get out of here. We don't have to listen to your weird space voice.
Why so silent, consortium drones? Do you not tremble at my might? Jeffrey, they're not making any noise. Can you... No, I told you it didn't work last time we tried it. Well, I've tried the other microphone. No, it's definitely plugged in.
Click on the microphone symbol.
He sees you just sort of like waving your arms, sort of pointing at something, and then you see him sort of hunch over a keyboard. He's like, hello?
Yeah, we can still hear you, Zorgon.
Oh, yes. Well, where was I? Thanks very much. No. Oh, God.
We could hear you. We heard it all. I opened fire.
No!
Where are you aiming?
I'm aiming at Zorgon the Conqueror's monitor.
Okay, so roll me... I mean, are you prepared in any way? How are you approaching this?
So as he was talking, I was unbuttoning the holster on my hip and slowly moving my hand into position. And now I quickly draw and fire at
roll me 2d6
at the screen.
At the screen.
3 and a 4.
3 and a 4. Okay, so that's 2 successes. So you fire off your pistol. Is it still set to stun, or you've got it set to kill?
I got it set to, let's say, kill. Let's treat ourselves.
Okay, so you notice the sort of like the pulse laser fire out of your cannon, and it bounces off of the screen and starts ricocheting around some of the more metallic objects in here, like a spaghetti western. This bullet is just flying around, pardon me, and it just lands itself in some unnamed guard in the corner of the room who just drops.
Nice. All right, Key, I'm all out of ideas. What do you got?
I look at the guard that just dropped in the corner and I go, good idea. And I'm going to shoot a guard.
Which one would you like to shoot?
All of them?
At once?
I don't know how I don't know what the rate of fire is on this weapon.
I'm going to say it has the rate of fire of like a semi-automatic pistol.
Okay.
You're surrounded by about 10 guards with rifles who are all aimed at your position.
Yeah, I'm going to try John Wick, like 6 of them.
Okay. So roll me 2d6. Is there any way in which you're prepared at this, or are you getting any help from your compatriot here?
Yeah, I'm going to help.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to shout encouraging things. Go, Key. Shoot him. You can do it. Shoot him good.
Give
with
me
the
1d6
lasers.
for feelings then.
1d6 for feelings. All right. Oh, it's a 1. All right.
Okay. Just the 2 dice for you then, Jenny.
Okay.
On feelings as well.
Oh, they were on feelings, huh?
Oh, well, to be fair, you were trying to John Wick it, right? Yeah, let's call this lasers. That's fine.
Woo! Then that's 2 successes.
So you sort of like judging the pull of this magnetic force field that you're on. You start to haunch up, and you're like strong enough to just pull yourself up to kind of about half your normal height. And as you pull your gun out, you're kind of shaking. And then in a moment of quiet, you just fire off a few shots around you, and you drop about 5 of the 10 guards who all fall back onto their haunches. And you can tell that the beam hasn't necessarily killed them, but there's like steam coming off of their armor as if it's like pulsed into them. They are sort of prone, writhing around, and weirdly, the other guards are just sort of shaking and not firing. But you need time for your pistol to charge back up so that you can get another volley off. Just as you're trying this out, Zorgon, who's been frozen for a while, suddenly kicks back into motion. And he's like, no, it's back on. It's back on. Right. Enough, you consortium fools. I've brought you here for a very specific purpose. I need your expertise, and I won't be killing you. So you're very, very lucky.
I killed the remaining 5 guys. No, I don't. It's fine.
Meanwhile,
2 choices. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, Zorgon, please.
Carry on. Zorgon is barely trying to get his webcam work. So.
All right. As the webcam flakes out, we're down at the base of the building. I spaced out for a second there, so I'm vaguely aware of where I am. I'm at the bottom of the building, and the big screen that was at the top of the building.
It's large enough for you to be able to see.
So I can hear it. We can hear it down here at the
it's
ground level
across the
amazing. Great. So we're all caught up. Sim, I think we need to get in and up this building, use whatever space elevator they have. But it seems like there's a lot of guards in there, a lot of troops, a lot of Zargon. What's his name? Forces. A lot of those dudes in there. So I feel like they are looking to our colleagues at the top of the tower right now. So maybe we can sneak in. Maybe we can break in through a side door or something like that.
There's a lot of personnel entrances, so there's certainly somewhere that you could attempt to get in.
Yeah. All right. So I sidle up to one of the, I'm going to say it's like a sliding Star Trek style door, obviously, and fiddle with the electronics on the outside.
Okay. So there's like a panel on the side.
Yeah.
And it has some kind of like retina scanner on it.
Oh, okay. All right. What do we got in the way of eyeballs?
I have an Android eyeball. I could try that. It
might confuse it. Yeah, I like that. I love it. It might be so, it might be so confused. It might fritz out.
What's the other one?
The other one's just for show.
Perhaps you could plug one of the wires from the what's it called, from the display thing into me, and then it'll copy whatever retina scanner it needs.
Yeah, all right, let's hack the retina scanner by plugging Sim into the entrance control panel.
Okay, so are you doing the hacking, Jane?
Yes.
Okay, so you're definitely helping, Alex. So I'm going to ask you to do your own science roll. And as you are using your own Android wirings, I'm going to say you got 2d6 on this one.
Cool.
Nice.
That's a 4 and a 6.
So that's one success, which means that Jane, you will get an extra die. You are a science officer, so you'll get an extra one for that as well.
Cool.
And considering the amount of time that you spaced out, you were probably having a really good plan about this. So I'm going to say that you've got the full complement, 4 dice.
Hooray! 4 dice. I'm bringing in the 4th. Okay, here we go. I've got a 1, a 5, a 2, and a 3.
So that is 4 successes, and you get to ask me a question. Is that right? Oh no, you're a 4. Sorry, 3.
Yeah, no, I'm a 4. 4 is my number. Yeah.
Okay, so ask me a question first.
Wait, I'm a 4. So do I get a question?
Did you roll a 4?
No, I didn't roll a 4.
Oh, my bad. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
All right. So you succeed. So you find like a sort of spare cable that seems to be some kind of, I don't know, it's like an aux cord, so you can pop your beats in when you get in your retina scan. And you just sort of like plug it into the under armpit slot that Sim has.
Excuse me, Sim. I'm sorry.
And you see like their eyes just sort of go blue a bit, as if they're kind of like seeing some kind of heads-up display. Sim, you can see what looks to be some kind of essentially like a what's the word? You know when you have like the startup program like before the PC has actually built up.
BIOS.
Yeah, the BIOS. That's the one. You can see like the BIOS of this Retina scanner's terminal.
It's like.
Yeah, it's like it's giving you a few options.
The Windows 95 startup sound.
Yeah. Well, am I supposed to be picking an option here?
Yeah, would you like to read them?
Would I like to read them? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was just going to scan my eyeball and open the door. It gives me the options of.
That seems to be some kind of big setup cable. Oh, sorry, am I cutting out? That went a bit laggy there.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, it seems to be some kind of tech setup that you've plugged yourself into.
Oh, okay. I don't really know what options it's giving me. Sorry.
No, I'm saying, would you like me to read them out for you?
Oh, yes, please. Sorry, I thought you were saying for me to read them out. And I was like, but I don't know what they are.
Okay, so there's a number of options that are presented to you. Like in the bottom right, there's like a little sort of company logo of like the people who made this. It's like, Praxis Solutions or something like that.
Perfect.
And you've got option 1, retina scanner, and then some kind of weird jargon word that you've never heard of. It might be local to the system. It's like Phalangus. Option 2 is warranty settings. And then option 3 is contact tech support.
I would like the retina phalanges or whatever it was called.
So you press option 1 and then you're given like this huge sort of like document with multiple sort of like drop down windows of different options that can be changed, and there's all kinds of weird human terminology that you've never heard of before.
Okay. Are you giving me options again, or
it's difficult for you to decipher? It's like a massive, imagine like a standard sort of like setting screen on a program. Imagine that, but like the size of a bedroom wall, and every single Dropbox that you could think of with all kinds of weird terminology and all kinds of alien dialects.
Could I try and use some Android logic to try and work it out?
Try and work out like whereabouts the thing that you would be looking for is probably.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Give me a 2d6 lasers check.
Cool. Oh, that's a 1 and a 3.
1 and 3. Okay, so, and you're a 5, cool. Mm-hmm. So you sort of like flick around and you're like, well, probably the first couple of options are something to do with this, and I don't really need those. And then you realize that there's like this little string of text that has like a sort of word, then a comma, then a word, then a comma, then a word, then a comma. And it looks like a sort of permissions input. You could probably add some bits to the end of this and maybe try and hack your way in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so give me one more lasers roll, and I'm going to say this is probably a 2 again.
That's a 2 and a 3.
2 and a 3. You literally just type in the words Android and science officer, and then you hear like a ding, and then there's a sort of confused Lexi on the other side of this like heads up display on your eyeballs, just going, "Oh, what did you do? What happened?"
It's gone green. It looks like it's going to let us in. I don't know what you did, but it's worked like magic. Well done.
No problem.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cool. What are you up to right now, Sim? Are you going to deplug yourself, or is there anything else that you want to use?
No, I'm going to unplug myself and go.
Okay, so you start tugging on the cable, and you realize it's like jammed. You're not entirely sure how it got in there so hard, but Lexi probably just like shoved it in with enough force.
Oh no!
Either it's done some damage, or it's possibly not letting you take it out because it's detecting some kind of rogue system that it's not used to.
It's a click eject hardware.
I seem to be stuck.
Oh no, you're tethered. You've been tethered to this security console. Okay. I examine the other end of the cable, the one that plugs into the console by the door. What does it look like? Is there any give in it? Can I brute force it? Can I yank it out?
It's pretty well sort of like planted into the stonework of the building. But as you sort of like crane your neck under, there's a few sort of buttons that you can press.
All right. Yeah. Do I recognize? How familiar does it look? The kind of layout of the buttons. Is it very alien, or is it?
Yeah, it's not anything you've ever used before. It's not standard consortium hardware, that's for sure.
Can I? Sorry. Can I use my space pistol and just shoot at the?
Yeah, absolutely.
That Lexi's looking at.
The like underside of the terminal. So you want to just sort of like uppercut fire into it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what? I would just be mashing buttons, so we may as well shoot them.
I essentially, my thinking is that Sim has seen Jet Star Chaser do this kind of thing last time, so thinks that seems like the logical thing to do.
I shot the coffee machine this morning when it didn't make my coffee quick enough.
I saw Jet use this on an ATM.
It's really unfair.
Oh no!
Really unfair. You refer to Key as the coffee machine, by the way. He really resents that.
Where's my oat latte?
So he is the system itself is as it's fired into, because like it's not difficult for you to just like put it point blank underneath the machine and fire. As it's fired into, it starts to like spurt sparks everywhere, and you see the doors sort of start to open and then close themselves, almost like they're clapping. And as this is happening, the heads-up display that's on your eyes that hasn't gone yet, as the cable's not come out, starts to just sort of flick around, and loads of different settings just seem to like get pressed everywhere. And it boots you back to the opening screen and starts pressing random buttons. And then eventually there's just a screen that says calling tech support.
Oh, help is coming. That's what I say to Lexi, obviously.
Good. What kind of help?
Tech support.
Oh, okay. Let's get some IT guys down here, see what they can do. oh no, let's get the IT guys down here and we'll nick their IT guy uniforms and then we'll be golden. Maybe.
This sounds like a good plan.
I'm gonna hide. Sorry about this, Sim, but I'm gonna hide so I can like lie in wait for the tech support to arrive, and then maybe we can get the drop on them.
Where are you hiding out of interest?
I pile snow over myself.
like a huntsman spider or whatever it is, just sort of ready to pounce. Okay, so you're quite cold, but you are hidden.
Yeah.
We flick back momentarily to our two captured consortium officers. As Zorgon is delivering his demands to you, and he says that if you don't help him with his device, then he will not only execute you, but he'll keep executing everyone that comes here.
What's the device? What do you need help with?
What is the device, he asks. Why, of course, it's my quantum tunnel.
Okay. Why do you think we can build a quantum tunnel? I can barely fly a spaceship. Didn't you see me crash?
Are you trying to convince him that you're not a very good pilot?
I'm trying to find out why he wants us. I'm not trying to convince him of anything just yet.
Okay. You idiots. You know what a quantum tunnel is. Have you not used it to beam yourself into places? Imagine that, but on a galactic scale.
So, what, this is for fast travel, for the benefit of of everyone in the galaxy. Yes, that's what
Oh,
you're doing.
yes, of course. Everyone in the galaxy will feel the implications of my device.
It sounds bad.
Sounds kind of sinister.
Mm.
What do you think, Key?
I don't like it. Let's go along with the plan and then find a way to double cross him.
I love
What's that? I'm not picking you up.
We said we'd love to go along with the plan and not double cross you.
Fantastic. Wow, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, can't wait
if
to get
only you
started.
knew the plans I had.
Yeah, well, point us to the quantum tunnel machine and we'll get cracking.
Very well. You see him press a button, and then it starts screen sharing. And you can see that he's been buying him some kind of cream for an embarrassing illness that he has. No, what? No, stop, stop, Jeffrey, cut it. And then the camera just goes. At that point, the sort of magnetic field that was holding you down seems to sort of loosen up, and you finally feel like your back feels under a lot of pressure, and suddenly it loosens, and then you feel the sort of grip of a grunt's hand on your shoulder saying, "Follow me."
All right.
I wait until he turns around, then I kick him in the ass to punt him down the corridor.
There are quite a few guards around you, just to let you know. There's
I mean, I'm not worried about annoying them. I just shot 5 of their mates. Like,
you're not trying to escape. You're just trying to neg him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to punch him in the butt. Punch him in the bum, kick him in the bum.
I punch him in the bum.
Yeah. One of you punch, one of you kick.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me 2d6 feelings then to try and kick his ass.
That's 2 6s.
Yeah, it's a 6 and a 4.
Wow.
Okay, you both you assign each other a cheek each and just sort of slam him down the stairs and look very heroic, and then the rest of the guards sort of grab you by the arms and wrestle you under control and start pulling you down the stairs into what looks like some kind of laboratory almost. And we flip back to Sim, who is currently hearing a dial tone in their ear.
I would like to obviously try the cable again. Is that still stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to yank it?
Yeah, I'd like to maybe just yank it, and I'll try that first.
Okay, so as an android, you don't feel pain, so I will allow you to be an expert at this because you're not too worried about the damage you're causing yourself if you do this. So I'll give you 2d6, but this is a feelings roll.
Oh, Lord, so I have to roll over 5.
5 or a 6, yeah.
Ooh, that's a 2 to 4.
Okay, so you tug and you tug, but you just can't get enough purchase on it. Like the icy slipperiness of the atmosphere is making it really difficult to grab anything metallic. And then you hear just a sort of "Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line."
And I'm reassured by this message.
And then with a flash, Lexi, you can see on the terminal, there's a little screen, and you are just sort of seen by this spotty kind of 20-year-old who's just sort of staring through the screen and just sort of adjusts the camera and says, "Yeah, you're right. Any issues with the retina scanner? Is there?"
Excuse me, I do not understand your accent.
What? He's sort of trying to peer behind you, Lexi, to this strange voice that's disembodied.
Oh, I thought Lexi was hiding.
Oh, of course she is. No, my bad. Yeah, no. This is obviously talking to you, Sim. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry. You're with Zorgon, are you? Are you with his crew?" And just starts typing a few things on his terminal.
I am.
Right. I'm getting that there's some kind of external input plugged in at the moment. Are you trying anything weird?
I am not.
Right, you're very precise, aren't you?
Yes.
Good. Right. I'm picking up some kind of weird. It's not damaged, is it? Can you see any physical damage on the device itself?
I do not wish for this to drag on. Please, could you unplug me?
Unplug you?
Yes.
Sorry, are you plugged into the retina scanner?
I am.
What? How have you managed that?
Please stop asking me questions and plug me out.
Right, look, love. If you want me to fix this system, then I need some information from you. I'm seeing that there's something plugged in, which apparently is a human, and I'm also getting problems that there looks to be some kind of surface damage on the device itself.
I do not understand your accent.
Oh, bloody hell. You sort of like, you see like a hold screen, and then as it sort of flicks back on, like an older gentleman is behind him, and it's just like, yeah, no, that is weird. Oh, sorry. Hello. Yeah, are you having problems with the retina scanner?
I am.
Okay, that's strange. Whilst I've got you on the line, we do have a couple of questions. Did you say that you work for Zorgon?
Can I like turn them off because they're not helping?
I mean, yeah, there's an end call button on the screen.
I will press that button.
Okay.
And I turn to the like pile of snow that is Lexi and go and just like essentially say like that tech support is useless.
Oh no! Tell them to send someone. Tell them to send their best tech support person.
You hear a voice from a pile of snow.
No. Oh no! We've already hung up. Oh well.
Yeah, just as you're about to press the button, he says, "Yeah, there's a few irregularities with the monies on your account," and then it just cuts. And as this is happening, like the doors are still sort of slamming open and closed, and then you hear like shouting from inside of the facility itself.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna ask, could you maybe try and shoot the wire off? I cannot get.
I can't foresee any issues with that.
Okay, I take our phaser that sets us stun, our phaser pistol, and I try to rewire it into some kind of phaser cutter, some sort of, like a torch.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like
so you want to have the phaser to, instead of be a pulse, you want it to be like a constant beam.
Right.
So you can use it like a laser scalpel.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay. So this is a pretty good thing for a scientist to be doing. And I'm going to say that you've been using this pistol for quite a long time, so you know it pretty well. So give me 3 dice.
Okay, nice one. Right, here we go. Got a 3, a 1, and a 1.
Cool, that is 3 successes. Yeah.
Hey.
So you managed to get this beam to sort of like fire continuously, so you can use it like a scalpel. But you also noticed that, damn, this thing's firing even more powerful than it was before.
Yeah.
You've kind of souped it up a little bit. This could do some real damage. Like, although the stun option is probably gone now.
Okay, no more stunning. It's all shoot to kill from here on in, everyone.
So you go up to the armpit of Sim and just sort of like blowtorch your way through the cable that's plugged into the armpit. And finally, the blue HUD that was over your eyes, Sim, is finally gone. And you can actually see things again. And whilst like the end of the cable is still stuck inside you, like it's no bother.
Can I go over to the door? And because I realize I'm an android, so I've got like, I'm quite strong, so I'd like to just
try and hold it open.
Open the door so Lexi can get through, and then I'll slip through.
Okay, can you give me 2d6 and roll for feelings, please? Because this is a strength.
Oh god. Oh, I got a 3, but I also got a 5.
Okay, so that is a success. It's not a great success, but it is a success. But you also get to ask me a question.
Did you say there was people on the other side of the door?
There were when you last checked, yeah.
Are there any there now, and how many?
There are quite a few, and they're waiting inside.
Okay, cool.
I will just point out that after you ask me a question, you're allowed to try and not do the action that you originally wanted to do. That is an option that is presented to you. It doesn't mean that you have to take it, though.
No, I'm going to carry on.
Okay, so you walk in, and then you feel your hand slam closed a bit, and then you just manage to pull it apart just enough for someone to sneak through. But then right on the other side of the door are about 4 lasers pointed directly at your head. As you see like a whole crew of guards who have heard the massive amounts of noise that have been coming from this one entrance, and are now trained on your position.
Greetings.
Who are you?
My name is Sim.
Okay, what the hell are you doing here?
I kind of like look kind of sideways at Lexi, like I don't know how to answer this.
Somebody else there with you?
I guess so. Hi, fellas. Hey, how's it going? I'm here to deliver an android.
You look like you're really cool, but then your face is like blue from all of the ice that you've been putting yourself under.
It's real cold out there, fellas. If you could let us inside.
She's literally really cool looking right now.
Oh, I don't remember ordering no android.
It's not for you, dummies. It's for management. You don't get androids.
Oh, okay.
We need to get to Zorgon.
Yeah, exactly. She knows.
Well, Zorgon ain't here. He's on the moon. Oh, and he just gets like elbowed by one of the other. Don't tell him that, doofus.
I make a mental note that Zorgon is on the
Moon.
It's on the moon.
No, it's a Praxis Unplugged, isn't it? The moon.
That's why he's having connection issues.
Oh
my God.
So, are you trying to convince these fine folks?
Yeah,
to let them in? Okay, so this is.
Flag it.
Do you know what? This seems like a cool and collected action. So I'm going to allow you to roll with lasers.
Cool.
I won't say that you're an expert in this. You are savvy, though. Yeah, why not? Give me 2d6 on lasers.
2. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 4 and a 2, and I'm a 4. So
Okay, that is a well-in-tuned success. But you also get to ask me a question.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm pretty confident that Zorgon is on the moon, so I don't want to waste it. What's the best way to get to Key and Jet?
You are pretty sure that a research facility of this nature would, and as a scientist yourself, like you've been in a few of them, you're pretty sure that a research system like this will have some kind of centralized laboratory where they'll do most of their experiments, especially if this is the main facility itself. And if they've been captured, and what it sounds like from the broadcast is that they're being used for something, then they're probably going to be there. So if you ask to deliver the android there, that's probably a good way of getting to them.
All right. Okay. Well, in that case, I address the 4 guards and say, yeah, I've got to. Someone has to sign for this, and then I'm going to take them to the laboratory.
Okay. So they sort of like they're like, oh God, okay, oh. Were you supposed to look after the deliveries? I don't know. They start.
Fellas, I need someone to sign for this, please.
I can't write. Can you write?
Oh.
They sort of like they pull you over to like a sort of main sort of thoroughfare corridor, and as you're walking through, you're sort of like peering through all of the windows, and you see like all sorts of personnel just like firing guns into walls and testing out new systems. There are cages where there look to be some kind of creatures that have been captured and experimented on. And as you get into the sort of like main sort of open air facility, you now see the tunnel as well that I was describing to the others before. There's a huge, I'm not sure if you were actually online at this point, Jane, but there is a huge tunnel that's being drilled into the ground of Praxis itself, Praxus Prime. And as was described on the radio call, this is some kind of like quantum tunnel that they're trying to build that will allow travel between points of the galaxy. You are then quite shocked to see your 2 fellow crew members waiting in the laboratory, sort of like held by guards.
Hey.
No.
Oh, I mean, what?
Hey, who is that? I have never seen them before.
Greetings.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing a whole hella bunch of science here, fellas. What's this all about?
Well, we're just trying to get this this quantum tunnel working.
Oh, that's interesting. That's my favorite kind of science. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, it's actually it's kind of secret. Probably shouldn't go into it. What with all these guards here? How many guards are here, incidentally?
About 10.
10.
Ooh, I like those odds.
Lexi, can you give me a 2d6 lasers roll, please?
Oh, okay. And that's a 1 and a 3.
As something of a scientist yourself, you know that quantum tunnels are not only incredibly long range, but they will allow huge masses of like machinery and large groups of people to be able to travel all at once. And you are suspicious that Zorgon the Conqueror might have some conquering he wants to do, especially in this relatively undefended part of the galaxy.
Okay. Are we being listened to by the guards? Can the guards hear us at this point? Are they at a distance, or they can't? All right. Well, I'm going to keep it to myself.
A few of them that are like stood close to you to make sure you don't get up to anything. Even though they're pretty sure you're supposed to be here.
Okay. Well, I keep it to myself, and
is my communicator working?
Mm-hmm.
Can I surreptitiously write a text on it behind my back?
Yes. I'm going to ask you to roll for feelings. Do you think there's anything that's going to add some dice onto here?
Well, I formulated the idea when they walked in, so I've been getting the phone into position, so I feel like I'm prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, give me 2d6 then.
Okay.
Can I help by creating a distraction?
Let's see how the roll goes.
Okay.
It's a 2 and a 3.
That is 2 successes, so don't worry about it, Johnny. Basically, ask me a question, Jetstar Chaser. Of the
okay.
ISS
Why does Zorgon want us to do this? Why can't he do it himself?
You know the Zorgon's sort of like nation, I suppose you'd call it, Interstellar Nation, have not actually discovered this technology before. He might not even need you personally. He just needs to get the technology off of you.
Right.
If you can actually help him build it, then that would be great. But if you prove to be useless, he'll probably just try and steal your ship so that he can figure it out for himself and have the final piece that he needs to start his full-scale invasion.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to tap out a text in the group chat that we've all got going on Space WhatsApp. And I'm going to be like, all right, everyone, when I give the signal, start blasting.
Okay, and there's a little emoji of like a laser.
Yeah, a little ray gun emoji.
Skull. Yeah.
Can I text back discreetly and be like, what will the signal be?
Okay, I'll stick my tongue out.
Like, as in you
do a sticky tongue out emoji
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So as you're sort of like doing a text, you realize that you're catching a glance and you just shove it back in your pocket. And then through some doors, you see one of the sort of like science officers that are part of Zorgon's crew. He's a very short alienoid sort of like green-skinned figure, and he has his hands behind his back, and he walks out and he says, "Oh, consortium, what are
you?" Yeah.
Me?
What of it?
No.
Yeah, we were brought in by the distress signal. Turns out it was fake. So thanks for that.
Well, guards, you've done a great job at capturing all 4 of these consortium officers.
Me? No, I'm with Space Amazon.
Spamazon.
Amazon.
He looks at you and then looks at the guards, and then the guards look incredibly confused, and then they start to look nervous. And then he starts to look angry.
No.
And he's like, wait a minute. You didn't let these people in, did you, you idiots?
I turn around and I'm like, I believe he is angry.
I'm more than angry.
Nailed it.
Well.
No, we were captured. But there are actually 3 more of us out there. You should go find them.
Don't tell him about the 3 others. Key. Why are you telling about them?
I like their uniforms. I want
to. I can't believe you've betrayed Jeff.
They've turned him. They've turned Key.
And Rick too.
Key,
Johnny,
who are these other 3?
Oh.
Told you, Jeff, Rick, and Rick too.
So the science officer looks around with his hands behind his back, and then he sort of like puts his hand out and then signals to the guards, and then there's an awkward pause, And he's like, that means capture them, you idiots. And then you feel like a few arms sort of like grab you, both Lexi and Sim. Obviously, the other two are still restrained. And he sort of like walks forward all proud of himself and he says, well, it's very good of you all to walk into our clutches like this. But there is no need to worry. If you do what I tell you, then you will go free.
Okay, sounds reasonable. So yeah, let's get to work on this quantum tunnel. If you just want to give me my hands free, then I can get to work. Actually, all of us. If you want to just let us get to work, we should have this quantum tunnel knocked up in a jiffy.
He strolls over to you menacingly and like tries to look imposing, but he only comes up to about like your solar plexus. And he looks up at you and says, you don't look like a science officer.
What does a science officer look like? That's very offensive.
They look a lot smarter than you, that's for sure.
Well, I spend all my time in the lab. I don't have time to buy lab coats. They're always catching on fire because of my experiments that I often do. No. Sim, we'll work on this later.
Was that the correct time to laugh?
We'll talk about it later, Sim. It's all good.
Can you give me a feelings roll? But I'm only going to give you 1 die for this.
Okay. 2.
That is a question as well as a success.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where is Zorgon right now?
He's on PAX Unplugged.
There we go. Good. All right. Just wanted confirmation.
Okay.
So he's like, so you are a scientist then?
Mm-hmm. Ask me any science question.
Okay. How big is a... No, never mind. Come over here. He leads you over to like a sort of lab, and the rest of you are pulled along as well. And he points to this big control module. It's full of all kinds of dials and knobs and buttons and levers and everything. And in the center is a big sort of like television screen. And he taps a few buttons and he shows you a schematic of the thing that they're trying to build. Very impressive, isn't it? Our quantum tunneler. It will allow us to build an enormous army right in the heart of our empire and then pull them straight into the back of your undefended reaches and destroy everything in sight. It's a design that I made myself, of course.
Of course. So what are you missing? What do you need from us?
Well, to put it bluntly, we do not have the quantum aspect of the tunneler. The tunnel bit is finished, but the quantum bit needs some work. And as you consortium types use this quantum technology for all of your beaming down to planets and such, we assumed that you'd be able to help.
Okay. Can we just talk amongst ourselves for a second while we just plan out this, how we're going to build this thing?
Oh, the rest of them are scientists as well, are they?
Yeah, these are all science officers.
Oh.
Lexi, say something sciencey.
Oh man, I thought I was going to get away with that. Yeah, I'm chief science officer. I know all the sciences. You're short on quantums. You've got too few quantums.
Yes, that's exactly the problem we're having.
It's going to cost you. It's going to be expensive. There's a lot of quantums you need for a tunnel this size.
Plenty of resources. Don't worry about that.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let me have a look at those plans then, Jet, fellow science officer.
Yeah.
Pass them here.
Guys, I've got a plan.
Oh dear. Okay.
Right, we get the quantum tunneler.
Yeah.
And then I'm whispering this so that they can't hear.
Yeah. We're having science officer talk.
Yeah.
We're just quietly
build the quantum tunneler, but then we make a quantum tunnel to Praxis, the moon, and then we kill Zorgon.
Okay.
So the plan to stop the people from making us do what they want is to do exactly what they want.
Yeah, but to do it too much and then
kill him. Much.
Yeah, to make a perfect quantum tunnel to his house and then he'll be undefended. We can kick him and shoot him.
Okay, I'm going to start a second tunnel. You work on the quantums.
All right. Well, what do you think? Has anyone else got any ideas?
Yeah, I feel like if we only need to make a smaller quantum tunnel that goes to the moon, and it only needs to transport the 4 of us, then we can get it done quick, smart, and maybe sabotage it so it's like single use, destroys itself upon use. What do you think?
Yeah, and then we can wreck up Zorgon in his own home.
I love that plan. Okay. So I take a look at the schematic for this quantum tunnel, and I examine it for the possibility of making a less powerful, smaller version, which should be easier, but also to make it very flimsy so that it'll probably crap out after 1 use.
Okay. So you walk over to the sort of control panel, and like you've never used this equipment before, so you need to sort of like read a few user manuals and stuff to try and figure something out. But you can see that essentially right in the middle of the schematic, there is a huge gaping hole where a quantum energy device would normally be fitted. And you're pretty sure that you could whip one up with the amount of materials that they have here.
Okay, great.
Of course, I will ask you to roll for it.
Oh, nothing's for free. Okay, I'm gonna make a smaller, like a scaled down version of the quantum energy device they want for the center of their tunnel. So it won't take as many resources. But I'm going to try and make it as poorly as possible. It's going to be very poor quality, which means it's going to be dicey, but they won't be able to come after us, hopefully. So what do I need to roll? Tell me now.
So I'm going to say this is probably 2d6 because you're unprepared.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you are going to need, and it's a science roll, but you're going to need a 4 or lower on those.
Okay. All right. Stand back. I'm going to do a science. Oh, it's 2 1s. 2 1s.
2 1s. Can you give out that?
Yeah.
Well, think about that. You could roll 2 4s. But anyway. So you sort of like start, pressing a few buttons and like typing a few notes. And then you're like, aha, I've got it. In like a eureka moment. And then you literally just sort of grab one device from one end of the table, grab the other and just put them together. And you're like, I've done it. And as you're sort of like looking around the room, you realize that the device literally just slots into one of the control panels that's available here.
While this is all going on, I would like to announce that I am doing a structural integrity test on the tunnel, and I would like to go punch it a lot so that I can declare it fit for purpose, but actually it's going to be very unstable and will probably collapse when we leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
The small sort of like attempting to be imposing alien figure is like, yes, I can tell from your massive meaty fists that you are quite the scientist. On you go then.
I call them my 2 PhDs.
And I go punch things a lot.
So he sort of leads you off to the tunnel and you just start hitting rock and he just watches you confused. Whilst you've got this moment, the only person who understands what's going on has now left the area, which means that if there's anything you want to do to this panel before you go, now's the time.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, no,
go on.
Jet. You're the scientist.
I'm gonna scientifically sabotage the operational, the panel, the control console for the quantum tunnel.
Okay, so you walk up to the panel which has like the targeting device on it, and currently it's set to Zorgonius, the sort of like huge system that most of the war machines and factories of Zorgon the Conqueror's empire currently reside. It looks like it's currently targeting that system as its.
Okay, so we need to change the coordinates for Praxis Unplugged, the mining colony on Praxis Unplugged, the moon of this planet.
Okay, so once again, this is a system you're not familiar with, so it's going to take some tech know-how. So give me a 2d6 roll, and you're looking for lasers.
Okay. That's a 4 and a 2.
Okay, so that's a success, and you also asked a question.
Okay. All right, what kind of defenses does Zorgon have on his moon base?
Not a great deal. This is essentially a ploy to make it look like the entire moon is completely barren and has nothing on it, which means that they have a very small security detail there. but it's essentially a misdirection tactic rather to try and stop people from finding his actual location.
Sounds great. Okay, cool. Well, in that case, I think it's all targeted and ready to go, the tunnel.
All right. What do you say we rush headlong into the quantum tunnel?
Do we have to activate it first?
We'll turn it on. Yeah. I run through the quantum tunnel and smack into the wall behind it.
It's like Wile E. Coyote running into a painting of Praxis Unplugged. So you see like the slightly rock and bloodied fists of your compatriot walk around the corner as he looks very like pleased with himself. And then the small green alien man is sort of like walking behind him. And he says, "Well, how goes it?"
It's fully ready, actually, ready and operational. We just need to flip the switch and do a quick test run. So we're going to volunteer to just run through from this side, and then we can pop back with Zorgon's forces or something.
Oh, what if it's dangerous?
Well, we're just going to have to take that scientific risk.
I guess we wouldn't want to put any of these
it's
fine
the
people at risk.
Science officer's code.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
Why wouldn't you just put the android through? They don't have any feelings.
Hey,
it's
I'm
because
trying.
sometimes quantum failure can pull all your guts out through your nose, and androids don't have guts or noses.
That's right.
Also, the android's worth quite a lot of money, and if I don't bring it back in one piece, that's coming out of my paycheck. So
How much am I worth?
It's not just the android that would be coming back in one piece. He assumes you can't hear him. He walks over to the device, and there's like an enormous flip switch, and he's like, "Oh, finally. I've waited for this moment for a very long time." And he pulls it down, and power systems start to ignite in sort of blinking green and red lights. And there's all kinds of like floodlights that are now like flashing down onto the tunnel itself as you feel like a sort of rumble underneath the ground of Praxus Prime. And he shouts to one of the guards on the gangway, and he says, "Turn on the monitor. I want to see their faces when they realize what we've done." He like sort of presses a button, and you can see that the targeting device, the screen is now being sort of screen shared with a massive monitor, and as it phases into power, you once again see Zorgon the Conqueror himself emblazoned on the screen. He's got a space guitar, and he's like attempting to write a song. He's like, if I'll kill all the human. No. And then he sort of like flicks up to his screen, and he's like, what's the meaning of this? Why have you turned on the communication device?
Okay, so I feel like they're going to make us now. They're going to figure out we've changed the target of the tunnel.
So quick, I think jump through it.
Run, yeah, get into the tunnel.
All right, sprint headlong into the tunnel. Go.
I run.
Okay, so you're all sprinting. Can I have all of you please give me 2d6 feelings?
Yeah, feelings.
No, running.
Laser feelings.
Oh, yay!
Laser feelings. I rolled. Sorry, go on, Andy.
3 and a 6.
Yeah, I managed to roll a 6. Woo.
6, sweet, cool. So everyone succeeded?
No, I got 2 2s. Right,
Ooh.
So
okay, that's
bad. A bad run.
That's
bad at running.
Your legs are still really cold. Johnny, you can ask me one question.
How cool do we all look?
You look so cool, apart from Jane.
Thank you.
So you're like sprinting away. Sorry, carry on, Andy.
Can I do anything to help Lexi in this situation?
As you see Lexi sort of like stumble over some wires as you're like reaching the end of the laboratory, there is a quick moment where you can try and reach out and grab her to pull her back up onto her feet.
I would like to do that.
Okay, give me a feelings roll.
Okay, just one.
Yeah, probably just one.
It's a 5.
That is a success. Okay, so you just managed to pull Lexi back up. You can see that she's sort of stumbling and then just gets back to her feet and starts sprinting.
Nice.
You're dodging like shots of laser rifles from the gangway as they're firing down. The small green man has now turned like purple with rage. He's like screaming at them, like, "Stop those fools!" Zorgon is like completely confused. He's like shoving all of the romantic novels that he has behind him out of the way that he's used for inspiration. And as you finally get to like the edge of the tunnel, you can see below you that like the lack of atmosphere from the moon.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no, he's back.
Oh god!
It's fine.
It's fine.
Everyone went off there. I think my charger wasn't unplugged. There we go.
There we go. We're all good.
My laptop went Praxis unplugged for a second. So you can see like the lack of atmosphere on this moon is like pulling things into the tunnel. It's like some kind of vacuum as it pulls bits of equipment flying into the tunnel itself. And then you see on the other end of the monitor, Zorgon the Conqueror himself is like rumbling. He's like, "What's happening? This isn't supposed to happen like this." Are you still sprinting into the tunnel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Are you putting your vac suits on?
Yeah, the same hopping into it as I'm sprinting.
It's an unrelated question. Don't worry. There's no leading information on that one. So as you're sprinting into the tunnel, you see like this force field of green pulsing wobbly energy, and as you sprint through, you find yourselves on the barren mining moon of Praxis Unplugged itself. And it is like dead silent. There's not a single drip of atmosphere here. And right in front of you is this like bay door, like this hatch that's leading into the rocky surface. And it says, "Secret base, do not open."
I open it.
Okay. Weirdly, there's no lock whatsoever. And as you pull it open, you find yourself in like some sort of airlock.
Okay.
Is there another door inside the airlock on the far side?
There is, yeah. So it's two doors on either side.
Okay, cool.
There's sort of like suits aligned on either side of the room itself.
Okay, cool. Well, then I take my space helmet off and close the outer door. Get the airlock working.
Are you sure that's the order in which you want to do it?
She is the science officer, Wheels. I think she's got this.
I can hold my breath really good.
Yeah.
It's not, mansplain airlocks to the science officer.
Do their spacesuits look different to ours?
Yes.
Can I put one of their vac suits on, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good idea.
You are wearing like a sort of black and red, like really baggy spacesuit with a big bowl helm, and it has like loads of like symbols of like guns and stuff on it. It looks really cool.
All right, let's all get those on.
Yeah, I don't usually wear a vac suit because I'm an android, but I put on one of these suits because I'm assuming that we're trying to blend in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So as you sort of like close the door behind you and then start to pull open the airlock itself to try and depressurize, as you pull it open, you feel the rumbling that you saw on the other line of Zorgon's call. As you can see that there is some kind of strange earthquake forming that's entirely localized inside this base.
Oh no.
So you pull the door open, and
Right.
in front of you is like a really sort of soft and plush kind of carpet. And all around you are like stuffed animals, and there's quite a few sort of like guitars, and there's like a little recording booth. In the far corner, like there's some kind of like sauna. And right at the end, you can see like a computer system where a man who is wearing no trousers is sat. And as he flips his big evil-looking chair around, you realize that it's Zorgon the Conqueror. There he is in his boxers and dressed from the waist up, as he looks completely shocked and throws his guitar on the floor, shaking.
You said there were lots of guitars.
Oh yeah.
I grab the nearest one and I want to smash it.
Okay, roll me. You're dangerous, so roll me 2 dice, and this is definitely going to be feelings.
Oh no! I failed.
You failed to break the car.
I rolled a 1 and a 3 because that's what I rolled.
You pick up one of the guitars and you're like, take this, Zorgon, and you slam it into the plush carpet and it just goes oh. He falls out of his chair and grabs a pair of space trousers and starts to try and pull them over. And he's like, where are my guards? Guards!
Let's get him.
Zorgon very much channeling the old working from home vibe that's going on.
Yeah. Let's get him, everyone. Run and get Zorgon. I'm going to sprint over and get him.
No, Andy, Jet, do the signal.
Oh, sorry. The signal, everyone.
Rushing forward to dogpile him.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay,
okay.
I'm going to pick up the android and throw her.
Right, everyone else is just sprinting over, but can Johnny please give me 2 dice of feelings, please?
Yeah. Come on. That's
Yes!
2 6s.
You pick up the android, and the android is completely stiff.
She has a name.
No. You pick up Sim. They are completely stiff. And as you sort of like hold it over you, it's almost like forming some kind of massive metal javelin that you just yeet at Zorgon, and it smashes him in the head, and he falls back. Just as guards are sort of plummeting into the room, there's only about 4 of them. Coming from either side. One of them is wearing like a bathrobe. The others seem to have been in the middle of some kind of meal, and like a few of them have like a bit of sloppy Joe on their trousers.
That famous astronaut food.
Yeah, exactly. Zorgon is like holding his cranium as you like sprint towards him, and you realize that the guards are like running for their weapons.
All right, I open fire on some guards.
Okay, are you targeting the group on the left or the right? There's 2 on each side.
On the right.
On the right. Okay, so roll me. Are you just firing blindly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Roll me feelings, please. I'm going to say that like this is how you always shoot, so you can have 2 dice.
All right.
I'm just like pinning Zorgon with my weight, obviously, on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's a 6 and a 5.
Okay, so you fire just blindly at the 2 on the other side. Have you still got it set to kill?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Do you want it set to kill?
No, let's stun them.
Okay. So you see a large, like hulking bloke in a bathrobe, just like zap out as he like drops onto the floor. The other one just sort of like takes a shot to the arm, and like it spasms a bit as he sort of drops the weapon he was trying to hold. On the other side, a few of them have grabbed rifles and start firing at the group. Okay.
I want to use my new souped up phaser pistol, which can only kill now. So I'm going to aim for their rifle.
You sound like you're so worried about that, Jane. Sorry, guys. It's only set to kill now.
Just to let you know, this is what I'm playing with. I'm going to aim for the rifle on the in the other group, the leftmost guard on the other group. Yeah.
Okay, so roll me. Do you know what this is? This is a scientific weapon that you've made. Roll me some lasers.
Yeah, it is.
And also, you're using lasers.
Literal lasers. So 2. Is that it?
Yeah, 2d6 lasers.
There we go. Okay, it's a 6 and a 2. So 1 success.
That's 1 success. You managed to you fire this beam pistol in a line, and it's like a sort of laser pointer. And as you're sort of like trying to control the untapped energy of this gun, like it's sort of firing off in different directions as it sort of like carves its path through the shag carpet, and it just sort of like melts the end of one of the rifles. As the guy tries to fire it at you, it just sort of like explodes in his hands and he falls backwards. But the other one then sort of like combat rolls behind a giant stuffed bunny, picking up the rifle and starts firing blindly over the top. One of the bullets hits the shoulder of Key Odini, who falls back onto one of the guitars, which smashes underneath him. And he's like, yeah, got there in the end.
Oh, get it. Oh.
Key, oh no.
Sim, Zorgon has like tried to squirm from underneath you, and he's just got one of his legs trapped underneath your grip. as you're trying to hold him down. And he's reaching for a button on the console next to his PC.
I just turn to him and I'm like, I need you to hold still, please.
Get off of me, you tin robot fool!
I'm gonna like slap him in the face.
Yeah.
Try and calm him down.
Yes, Sim.
Yeah.
How would you describe your slap? Is it like a
Very
wild
powerful.
smash, or is it just like a?
It's like, you know, when somebody's being like hysteric and you like slap them to try and calm them down.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, just like,
Give me 1d6 in lasers, please.
oh, that's okay. Go. That's a 4.
Okay, so you sort of like you slap him in the head, and it's right where you originally hit him when you were launched by the weapons officer Chiodini. And he sort of like clumses back, and he's like whimpering now, and he's like. As this is happening, you feel like the hot pulses of lasers blasting past your heads, and you've now managed to sprint all the way up to Zorgon himself. And in front of you is this huge control panel full of big buttons. Some of them have skulls on, some of them have like pictures of planets that he's just crossed out, and all kinds of like screens showing different systems across the galaxy. And in the sort of bottom left is where he was recording his next album.
Okay. Does anyone want to take a look at this console while I keep firing at these soldiers?
I punch the console.
I'm going to keep firing at the soldiers.
Can you roll me 2 dice for feelings, please, Kelly?
I take a lot of feelings actions for somebody who picked a 4, by the way.
you keep punching indiscriminately.
I just rolled a 4, so
Yay.
Is that 1 success?
yes.
Okay, so ask me a question.
I'm open to suggestions from other players here.
what does the song that he's recording sound like? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go with that. What's his album like? Does it slap?
You would never ever describe this album as anything but horrible, gaudy trash. It is like loads of what are supposed to sound really heartfelt ballads. All about how hard it is to be an intergalactic conqueror, and the struggles of only being about 4 foot high when you want to look imposing. And then also there's like this 10-minute long song about this girl that he just can't get out of his head, who literally has forgotten his name. And it just goes on and on. It's the whiniest album you've ever heard.
Can I delete it?
No,
Yes.
no, take a copy for blackmail.
Yeah, no, forget I said anything.
Okay, it's all right. You punch into the console, and like a hot, fresh CD just pops out. That's just been written for you. They still use CDs in this universe, but they write really quickly now. And as you sort of like slam another fist down, you notice that screens are starting to flash red. And it says quantum flux capacitor over capacity.
Oh my god.
That sounds fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm shooting back at the other guards on the left now.
I guess
Okay,
I'll
so
mention to everyone.
sorry, carry on.
I'll mention that it's over capacity.
Oh, they can see it. It's on
Oh.
400 different screens in front of you.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we'll do the firing first. So Jet is gonna sort of blast a few shots at the one remaining sort of dangerous guard who's hidden behind the giant plushy rabbit. So can you please roll me some d6s? Once again, you're firing just in the way that you always have. Give me 2.
6 and a 5.
Okay, so you like fire a few shots that just sort of pulse through the bunny, which explodes in a big cloud of stuffing. And then as it sort of like dissipates, you can see like the guard that was behind just sort of like spasming a bit as he's been hit by the stun.
Cool. All right, that's the guards taken care of. It's just us and Zorgon the idiot now.
He's like whimpering on the ground, holding his head.
Oh, okay, I feel like the quantum tunnel is collapsing. It's imminently about to destroy itself. So maybe we could get back to the ship somehow. Can we remotely operate some sort of teleporter? Can we take Zorgon captive? Can we take a prisoner back with us?
You want to capture Zorgon?
Yeah.
Take
look
him
at
back to face trial.
He's
in the-
pitiful.
in
yeah.
the Federation or whatever. The consortium,
right.
that was it. Yeah, let's take him back to face trial in front of the consortium.
Space Court. Yeah.
All right, Space Court, let's do it.
Okay, so he doesn't put up much of a fight, and you sort of like you shackle him with some of the, I don't know, with the guitar strings that are laying around, and then as you sort of like start dragging him back out of the door, like the floor below you starts collapsing as what feels like the moon itself is imploding. You plummet into the airlock, shove your vac suits on to try and get away from the blast. You're just taking your last breath of oxygen just as the doors sort of like rip open as you're out onto the surface of Praxis Unplugged. And you are sort of like, sorry, Johnny, go ahead.
Can we say that we put one on Zorgon as well, please?
Oh,
yes, that's fine.
We stuffed him into a carry-all.
Yeah, you shoved him like into the pocket of your suit that you're wearing. And as you pull out, you see, like, you're completely bewildered as you see the ISS Raptor itself landing onto the planet.
Good work, Jet. How'd you manage that?
Oh, yeah, it's just something I've been working on, telepathic piloting.
As it touches down onto the craggy surface of the moon, the sort of like docking bay that you exited out of at the start of our adventure, it's all coming back. So the ramp starts to plummet down, and like walking triumphantly out of the ISS Raptor is Captain Darcy himself.
See.
Oh no, Darcy.
You're okay. Oh my god.
His enormous chin is pointed up into the air. And his huge shoulder muscles are sort of glistening in the starlight. And he says, "Well, if it isn't my faithful crew."
We did it, Captain. We captured Zorgon, the Conqueror. He's
going on trial.
Ready to face trial. We did it. Are you happy? Are you pleased with us? Did we please you?
Zorgon the Conqueror, eh? Well, long time no see, you little worm. We'll be taking you back to the ship before I, No, wait, hold on. Zorgon the Conqueror? You owe me a lot of money. He sort of, like, whimpers out of the little pocket that he's in and says, I thought we called that one quits. He sort of, like, pulls out a phase pistol and holds it, aiming at the head of Zorgon the Conqueror.
Punch Captain in the face.
Whoa!
Oh!
Roll me. You know what, Johnny? You've been preparing for this your whole life. Roll me 3d6.
I knew I had something on him. I just needed that last piece of the puzzle. That's 2, 2, and 3.
You are cool. You are calm. You are collected as you sprint up to the captain, who, perplexed, sees you like readying one of your massive meaty fists, which lands him straight in the upside of his jaw as he collapses backwards onto the raft of the ramp of the ship, and he is just like completely out of it. You can see stars like circling around his scalp, and as he just sort of like lies there, loads of space criminal things fall out of his pockets.
I reach up and I start undoing the thing on top of my head. No one's quite sure what it is. It's like basically I'm like,
in my culture, it's a solemn vow. When we make one, we tie our hair up, and then we're all like, I'm not letting this down until I punch the man I said I was going to punch. I've had this up for 15 years.
I'd like to just like drag the unconscious body of Captain Darcy, was it? Just off the ramp, because I mean he's just going to get in the way, right, when we get on the ship.
Well, he can go on trial too. I can't believe I used to look up to you, Captain Darcy, with all your look at all this space heroin. This is outrageous. All right, let's get these two in the brig and get back to consortium space, and they can go on trial for their crimes.
So you pull both of these reprobates into the brig. You're not quite sure how Darcy recovered, and it's strange and something you might have to explore in a later adventure. But for now, you have thwarted the campaigning of Zorgon the Conqueror. You've finally gotten some dirt on your captain so that you can haul him in and probably make yourself the captain now. and
yes,
you return triumphantly back to Consortium space to tell them all of your incredible adventure on the ISS Raptor.
We did it.
I am pleased by this.
Would you say you're feeling pleased?
No.
No.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Oh, I guess we'll just have to see if Sim develops emotions in another adventure in the future. Thanks very much, everyone, for playing Lasers and Feelings.
Pew pew, lasers.
Pew pew. Thanks for having us. That was fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. This has been Dicebreaker playing Lasers and Feelings with our illustrious guests outside Xbox. If you haven't already, please jump on over to their channel to subscribe and do give us a big subscribe as well. You can click on the bell icon below this video to get live updates every time we post a video. And of course, we will be back with more content just like this whilst the world is ending. Thank you very much for watching. Please watch all of our videos. Head on over to dicebreaker.com for more articles. And more importantly, have a lovely day. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.